Guys, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. So the slides are
Morning,
visible.
sir.
Slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the first section of Unit 1, what we have dealt with actually the H1 antagonist, right? The histaminic, antihistaminic H1 receptor, which were actually targeting the H1 receptor, right? So there we were basically talking about the allergies, right? How the histamine is involved in causing some allergies and how to inhibit them using the H1 antagonist, right? So there we have dealt about the selectivity, how we can improve the selectivity of drugs, right? So we have dealt that. So now today we are going to start with the H2 antagonist, right? So during my first lecture also what I have dealt that there are four types of histamine receptor, right? H1, H2, H3 and H4. H3 and H4 are basically confined to the CNS and they are not in your syllabus currently, right? While the H1 receptor are more configured to cause the allergies and the H2 antagonists are more configured to cause the ulcer by releasing the HCl in the stomach. So basically what is the thing when we start about the S2 antagonist? So basically the histamine is involved in the release of acid, but the histamine is not only the messenger that is actually responsible for releasing of the HCl. There are numerous other things also. For example, the acetylcholine is there, gastrin is there, which actually releases the HCl in the stomach, right? So to block that thing, what we have two things: H2 antagonists, right? And the second is the gastric proton pump inhibitor. So basically the H2 antagonist and the gastric proton pump inhibitor are a separate class, right? We'll be discussing how this is a separate class and among this, which are the best type of drugs, right? To combat that peptic ulcer or to what we call that to mitigate the HCl release in the stomach, right? So this is the thing. So in your syllabus, basically S2 antagonists are these three drugs and these gastric proton pump inhibitor are these four drugs. So we'll be discussing about that thing. And in this thing, in basically when we talk about the S2 antagonist, this drug, cimetidine is very important because cimetidine was the first drug that was developed by the rational drug design approach, right? I'll be discussing about that thing and all those molecules which have had the synthetic procedure. For example, in your syllabus, if you look at the syllabus, there is a star marked, right? This. So we'll be discussing all the synthesis at the last, right? When we'll complete the first unit, we'll then deal with all the synthetic routes of the drugs that have been marked with this star, right? So basically, it was already known, basically it has been 80 years when the stimulatory effect of histamine on the gastric acid was known. Let me open my laser pointer, right? So now the important thing here, in the gastric mucosa, histamine is found within enterochromaffin-like cells. So this is a very important question for the GPAT. Basically, this question can be asked in the pharmacology section, right? So basically the histamine, when we are talking about the histamine in the stomach, it is found in the enterochromaffin-like cells. We call it ECL. And when we are talking it in the blood or for the H1 receptor, it was found in the mast cell, MAST, right? So you have to remember this thing. So basically, when we will be blocking the S2 receptor, these cells will be affected, right? The S2 receptor will be on these cells, basically ECL cells, right? So you have to remember this thing, right? So now, what is the requirement of acid in the body? Can anybody tell that thing? Why our stomach produces the acid? What is the requirement of the acid in the body? Anyone? See, basically the acid is produced for what? Firstly, for the digestion of the foods and to kill the germs, because these germs or some bacteria cannot thrive in the acidic environment, right? So basically there are two major reasons. One is for the digestion of the foods and the second is for the killing the germs, right? So these are the two important things. Now there could be a question, right? So basically now when we talk about the acid, right? Acid is very corrosive. It can damage anything, right? But what is there in the stomach? Basically the stomach is protected with the acid. This is also a good question to ask. For example, if a acid having a pH of 2 to 3 can damage anything, can damage any skin and other thing, right? But what is there in the stomach which is protecting our stomach from this high pH acid? Right? There could be something, na? So basically this is the natural mucus barrier which actually protects the lining of stomach from being worn away by the acid, right? So for example, I have just taken this figure to just explain you. So see, for example, this is our stomach, right? So in the stomach, there is a mucosa layer. This is the extra layer. This is the extra layer. This is not the epithelial layer, which is found with the other organ. But in the stomach, this epithelial layer is replaced by the mucus layer, right? And the mucus layer actually protects the stomach or its lining from the high pH or the high pH acidic HCl, right? It is having a pH of 2 to 3, right? So basically it is very acidic, and this mucosa is actually protecting the stomach lining, right, or the stomach from the acid, right? So this is the first important thing, right? So I'll be just moving forward now. Where these type of drug will actually work, for example, in some people what happened, this barrier may have broken down, right? In some cases there are the cases of the peptic ulcer, right? Or this mucosa layer is damaged, right? And when the mucosa layer will damage, what will happen? There will be the high chances that stomach will get affected with the acid, leading to what? Leading to either the peptic ulcer or some form of tumors, right? So this is the common thing, right? So in some people, this barrier may have a broken down, allowing the acid to damage the stomach, causing an ulcer, right? So basically the ulcer is caused by because of the damage in the mucosa layer. And when there will be a damage in the mucosa layer, the acid will actually affect what? It will affect the lining of the stomach, causing an inflammation, which is called the ulcer, right? So this will be a very painful situation, right? In other, there may be a problem with the muscular band at the top of the stomach, the sphincter that keep the stomach tightly closed. So, for example, you might have heard about the acid reflux, right? Whenever someone is having the food or after the food or having some what we call the roadside or the street food, they actually get some belching, right? Belching, and with that, which is having a very sour taste. So basically what is happening, the acid is actually refluxing upside, right? So there is also pain. This is acid reflux, which also can cause the heartburn or the inflammation of the gullet. Esophagitis, this is called the esophagitis. So basically esophagus will be affected. Itis means the inflammation, it will cause the inflammation, right? So this is the common thing. Now this I have already discussed. Basically the histamine is actually naturally produced by certain cells in the body, including cells of lining of the stomach. So basically in the stomach we'll be dealing with the ECL cells, right? So histamine released from the ECL cells then stimulate the acid making cell, right? So basically histamine will release from where? Histamine will release from the ECL cell, and when it is will be released from the ECL cell or the enterochromaffin cells, it will stimulate what? It will stimulate the parietal cell. Hope you have learned about the parietal cells in the pharmacology. So parietal cells are the cells that actually produces the acid in the stomach, right? So basically ECL cell is doing what? ECL cell is releasing the histamine, and that histamine is interacting with the parietal cells, and the parietal cells are actually releasing the acid into the stomach. So this is the common thing, right? Now there can be n number of situations when the acid can be released. So as I told earlier, there is not only the histamine is involved in release of the acid, but there are some other hormones or the neurotransmitter as well that actually releases the acid in the stomach. So blocking the H2 receptor for controlling the acidity may not be only a single target, right? So you can inhibit the acid or you can control the acid release in the stomach by blocking all these four receptors. So basically the first is the histamine receptors, right? The H2 receptors. So basically they are found in the stomach, right? ECL cells. Second is the gastrin hormone, right? So gastrin hormone also produces the acid. So it is basically mediated by the chemokine receptors, chemokine 2 receptor. So if you are blocking the chemokine 2 receptor, you are blocking the gastrin and you are controlling the acid release. Then there are the acetylcholine. So acetylcholine is again a neurotransmitter which is acting on the muscarinic 3 receptors, right? So if you are blocking the muscarinic 3 receptor, you are blocking the effect of acetylcholine, and at the same time what you are doing, you are actually controlling the acid reflux. So this proton pump, I'll be dealing just now with a figure. So basically I'm just going this here. See, okay, this is the thing. What I have told there are multiple type of receptor that actually contribute to the acid release, right? So what is there? The first thing is the histamine, right? So histamine is actually affecting the histamine receptor and they are mediating the proton pump, which are then releasing the acid. So proton pump are present in the parietal cells, right? The second thing I have talked about the acetylcholine, right? So the acetylcholine acts on the M3 receptor, or we call the muscarinic 3 receptor, and again it is affecting the parietal cell, right? The third I have talked about the gastrin, right? So the gastrin is again interacting with the receptor, the chemokine receptor. This is the chemokine receptor, and again it is releasing the affecting the parietal cell proton pump by the calcium dependent pathway, and the histamine is affecting it by the CAMP dependent pathway. So basically the histamine will act by the GPCR mechanism. We have already talked about that thing, right? So now see what these three things are doing. These three things, basically the histamine, the acetylcholine, and the gastrin, via the histaminic receptor, via the muscarinic receptor, and via the chemokine receptor, they are doing what? They are actually affecting the status of this proton pump, right? So what could be, how could we prevent the acid now in the stomach, right? So there could be the four mechanisms to control the acidic release inside the stomach. So what could be the three reasons, three approaches actually? The first is